I'm going to drive a flake in there. I'm going to try to blast through all that. With a strike that could snap it in half. Yeah. The convexity is not that great either. Let's see. I'm going to take that chance because the material is pretty good except for some spots. So we'll see. It should cooperate. Did it cooperate? Yeah, because it didn't snap in half, but that spot really is tough. Okay. Let me take a break from talking and see what I can do. All right, so that wasn't too bad, but it's going to be tough getting that smoothed out. Let's see. It's going to be tough because it's already starting to curve. I got to develop some convexity again. So, yeah, I'm going to first make sure I got a straight line again, which means I'm going to remove some from the base here. Everything I'm doing now is to get rid of that obstacle. So if I'm down here, I'm still concentrating on that obstacle. I'm just thinning this down here and making sure I have a straight center line so it doesn't develop a curve. Because if I don't watch it, it'll curve that way. It'll look like it will curve that way because I've been scooping out a lot. That side's not too bad, but this side looks like I need to remove some of the curvature. Now, Hornstone, it comes in varieties from very good to very bad. It does feel like a Hornstone. The reason why I have to focus on these strikes is because I need to learn what it's doing. And if I'm talking, it's difficult for me to pick up subtleties, because everything is very subtle in Flintknapping at this stage. In the beginning stages, it's not that subtle. It's pretty easy to pick up on what you need to do. But as it gets thinner and thinner, the differences in technique are almost imperceptible. So I have to make sure I'm not distracted. So instead of taking a break to think, I'm taking a break to eliminate thinking. Okay, so if I say I'm taking a break to focus, I'm actually taking a break to eliminate thinking. Well, maybe I should say to eliminate thinking too much. because there's still thinking going on. Still quite a bit of thinking, but it's kind of like behind the scenes kind of thinking. I'm just letting my experience take over. Everything is still done to take care of that obstacle. And I'll let you know that because you can't get that just by watching the video. It may look like I'm distracted. Sometimes I am distracted and I'll do something not related to the obstacle. But in this case, everything I'm doing is related to setting up an attack on that obstacle. So this tip looks way too fat. I'm trying to reduce it. It might not matter that much at this stage with this size of workpiece, but it's a good habit to get into. That habit has always yielded good results. To thin the ends a lot. The base is sufficiently thinned down, I think. I still want to have some meat in here just in case something else happens and it starts to curve even more if I can't get through there. And I need to make sure the tip doesn't start to look like it's curved as well. So everything is being done to prepare for future strikes on this obstacle. And that's a general rule of thumb for all major obstacles. Once I identify a major obstacle, if I haven't outright eliminated it in an obvious way, whatever I'm doing is still being done to prepare for removing the obstacle. In most cases. Yeah, because sometimes I do get distracted, but it's not that common to be all that distracted. It doesn't benefit me in the long run to be always scatterbrained, so I understand that and I adjust my tendency to be scatterbrained. Get myself back on course. I'm looking for an opportunity now to send in some flakes, but it still looks pretty bad. I don't know. I'm going to move the edge this way a little bit, so let me take some flakes off of the other side. At least I'll move the edge. I don't want to take flakes that are too big because it gets too thin too fast. Yeah, but I do want to take flakes like that. Everything is still done in preparation for attacking that obstacle. See, the edge is now moving toward the obstacle, both this way and that way. But at the same time, I can make this more smooth or less lumpy. I might have to attack it from this side as well, so might as well move this edge this way too. And while I'm doing that, I can send flakes in to make it less bumpy. Yeah. And eventually I'll try to figure out if I tend to knap in batches of flakes, or if I'm focused on individual flakes, or if I jump around a lot. And sometimes I'm focused on individual flakes, sometimes I'm focused on batches of flakes. Like an obstacle doesn't have to be removed with just one flake. You can think in batches. You can think that this obstacle is going to take 2 or more flakes, and you kind of foresee where they're going to be. Or you can look at it and say, okay, I want to just do one major flake to get rid of it. Or some kind of combination. Maybe 3 small ones and then 1 big one, or 1 big one and then 3 small ones. As an example, there are various ways that you can attack obstacles in terms of numbers of flakes. And yeah, you can plan it out sometimes. Especially if the material is cooperative. If it's not that cooperative and everything seems to be just chance, then you just attack it haphazardly and see what happens. That's an option also. Yeah. Nothing is completely predictable, but a cooperative material is very nice because it starts to become predictable as you get used to it. More and more predictable if it's cooperating. Yeah. And it's always nice when you get cooperation, just like in real life, with people. All right. Let's see. I'm going to pressure flake it a little bit. Let's get into the stage where I need to be very careful about how the edge is prepared. So, let me see. I need to get these tips redone. All right, so with pressure flaking, I can do several things. Everything is still done to get rid of that obstacle, okay? I'm just moving this edge a little more carefully this way. The obstacle is still there, so everything that I'm doing is to get rid of that. And if I can do something else useful in the meantime, I'll take the opportunity, but I bring myself back to that obstacle. Yeah. Don't lose sight of it. Pressure flaking allows you to be a lot more accurate with small flakes. And that's all I need right now is just small flakes. Because I don't want to take off too much width yet. I try to do the minimum amount of width removal. So far it's working out okay to minimize the width removal. It's okay. It's not great. I probably should reduce a lot more width, but I'd like to see if I can get away with that much, or not too much more removal of the width. I need to improve the edge with some pressure flaking on this side as well. Now I don't have the fan turned on with the filter. I just showed you that earlier because some might see that in the background in one of these videos and wondering what that is. I'll probably have that set up now until spring because I'm enclosed, especially at night when it starts getting cold. This room or the shed is going to be completely enclosed with no ventilation to speak of. There's some ventilation in here, but there are little vent windows near the roof. There's no cross breeze in here like there was in my shop in Texas. It gets much colder in here in the winter. Okay. I suppose I could install some vents that I can adjust. That's another project that'll take me away from doing other things. But yeah, probably have to do that too. All right, so I'm going to attack that step fracture to reduce it. It's much easier to remove the step fracture with a flake if the step fracture is not all that tall. So yeah, let's reduce the height if I can. Because if it's tall, it contributes to the strength of the surface. So a flake that's going into there, if it hits that tall spot, it tends to crack right there or step fracture at that obstacle. So if I reduce it down in size, the flake tends to pass under it more easily. Not always, but it does. Now, I don't see enough convexity, so it's time to work the edge a little bit to go the other way. If I can do it. Yeah. See, removing flakes in this direction creates more convexity. Yeah. But it also reduces width, because I got to go back the other way again now too. And not only do I need convexity, I need the edge closer to the obstacle, so I've got to pressure flake in both directions. This way to increase the convexity, and the other way to reduce the width. Get the edge closer to the obstacle. The closer to the obstacle, the better, up to a point. Usually you don't want the edge to be right on the obstacle unless you have no choice, because it removes way too much of the edge. Yeah, it's very effective to bring the edge all the way up to the obstacle and blow it away. Very effective, but it reduces a lot of width. If you can deal with the width loss, that's fine. I recommend it to get as close to the obstacle as possible, getting right up on it and next to it, and sometimes within it is best. Best chances of success. But that's only if you can live with the loss of width. I think it's going to end up being slightly curved when I take some flakes. Unfortunately, we'll see.